to the Function podcast. You know what I'm saying? It's Desean, a.k.a. Joe, a.k.a. Baby Joe, if you remember me from the Gap. You know, we just here to have fun, have a good time. You know,
yeah. Well, that's a fucking sick intro.
Yeah. We got some stickers, so
yeah.
sorry, no, we haven't.
We also try and
other guests.
I realize that I need to add that to the show notes because we kind of have been putting our guests on the spot lately and be like, hey, you do the intro. So
it'd be better if you knew beforehand. No, but I like I like how authentic it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's been fun. But what's up, guys? This is the first actual video episode, so we're real excited to finally get this to the stage.
If you're listening on audio, just go on YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be there.
Because you can see us. We're naked, all three of us.
Yeah, we're actually naked. For our audio listeners out there, we are naked right now, so you are going to want to get to YouTube to see us naked.
Covered in syrup.
But Joe,
baby oil.
Great for you to be here.
Thank you.
We've been planning this for a while.
Facts, we have.
I think August was whenever we first. We were at the beach, and I forget what it was, and we started putting this in motion. But now you're here, so we're glad you can make it.
I'm glad to be here. I'm like really glad because it was crazy. Because especially me and you, like we had classes together in high school.
I don't think we
didn't talk until after high school. Like legit, we didn't talk until after high school. Me and Elliot, we just like we didn't talk until after high school. But after high school, that's when we was like, oh shit, we kind of like the same shit. So all right, cool.
Well, I think for me it was not to dox him, but Delee actually put me on. Like I didn't know you made music until he was like one of the like interludes of your first projects.
Shout out to Yeti. I fucking love Yeti with his big dumb self. He's a great person, but I miss Yeti. I miss Yeti so much.
But before we continue, do you want to give an intro onto who you are and?
Okay, cool. I am Desean. A lot of people remember me as Baby Joe because that was my name at first. And so when I switched to Desean, people thought I just made the name up. It's just my middle name. And
I didn't know that.
And so I switched it because it sounded more geared towards my music. And then plus there was already somebody else named Baby Joe. But
there's also too many babies nowadays.
Right. And so it was like, let me give a more serious name because, you know, I kind of started shifting how my music was. You know what I'm saying? Back in high school, I was dropping songs like Titties and shit like that.
What a banger.
Which I still, a fucking great song. You know, don't get it twisted. I fucking love that song, but it's like, I shifted how my music was and I was like, you know what? Let me shift my name too. But to talk about myself, I would like to say I'm the gap between people. It's like I'm the person that everybody doesn't realize that they know, and like next thing you know, they got mutual friends. Like I'm the mutual friend. It's like you can take somebody from anywhere else, and they're like, "Oh, I know Joe," but next thing you know, the two people that know me, they like, "How the fuck do you know him?" If that's the case, you know what I'm saying?
We actually just started seeing that to a whole other level. So I actually met Jare last week.
Yeah.
And I just we confirmed the time for when you were going to come on, and then the next thing I know, y'all are just tweeting back and forth, and I'm like, motherfucker, they know each other. I was like, I just met, so...
I'm telling you, I'm the mutual friend that no one knew that they had. Like, you could put people in like 7 different circles, they probably know me. And then everyone's going to be like, how the fuck do you know him? And I have many layers to myself. There's a lot of I like to separate it in the sense of like there's Joe, Joseph, there's Baby Joe, and then there's Desean. You know, like people that knew Joseph, that's if you went to school with me. Like and that was before Catholic, because no one at Catholic knew me as Joseph. So it was like if you knew Joseph, that was before I got to Catholic. So like you knew me when I was a child. If you know Joe, then you met me either at Catholic or like when I was in college. If you know Baby Joe, that means that we were doing dumb shit together. Like we probably did some illegal shit together, and we got away with it. And now you're like we're blood oath, like in fucking The Hangover and shit like that. Or if you know Desean, that means you met me after I was like, all right, cool, I'm taking this music stuff serious. I'm gonna start singing and stuff like that. So it's like I guess multiple personalities, but that's how I figure out like where you met me in my life. is how people, what they call me. Because, some people call me Baby Joe still. Some people call me Joe. Some people call me Joseph. Some people call me Desean. That's how I know where you met me in my life.
Yeah. Like an onion. Like an ogre.
Yeah.
I guess that's what that's like when you have that many nicknames. I'm just Elliot, so I don't really... It's the same for everyone, so I guess...
Well, E-Dollar Boy.
I've never been... You've been the first person to call me that.
I would love to start calling you E-Dollar Boy.
Yeah, that was his old nickname back in high school.
I did like to steal the moniker as my fake rap name of Lil Pee Pee Spray.
Oh, yeah.
But I have not had anyone call me that, so that one doesn't really count.
Well, Lil Pee Pee was your name in high school, remember? Your nickname?
No,
everyone called you that. Everybody called you that. Lil Pee Pee. Remember? Because you had a little pee pee.
Yeah, that's exactly why. So for those who don't know, I do have a small dick. So with that,
anyway.
So sorry for that tangent. Back to our guest. So one thing I do want to know is where in California did you move out to, and how long have you actually been there?
I moved out to San Diego, so I'm literally like right by Mexico. And so I've been there for legit, I think I just hit a year and a half. I was there, I moved out in March of 2019. So yeah, it's been like a year and a half. I moved there because my dad works out there. So me and my dad, this is my biological father, so I didn't really grow up with him. But he saw when I was like 20, he was like, look, you can come out here and, do your music stuff. So I tell people a lot, they like, oh, you live out there with your dad. I really moved out with a stranger. I did not know this motherfucker. So I was just like, fuck it. I like music enough. We gonna figure this shit out. And so I spent a year and a half having to learn the motherfucker that I did not know. And I'm like, damn, we really related. That's cool. That's great. But I'm in San Diego. And San Diego's kind of weird. Well, because San Diego is weird. But it's like, you're close enough to LA to where it's a big city vibe, but you're far enough to where you're not in the fucking city. So San Diego's kind of like a half and half. Like, it's halfway like, okay, this feels homey, kind of like secluded, but also it's like, okay, there's shit to do. It's kind of moving and stuff like that. And you're only an hour and like some change away from LA. So it's a nice place, but it's a lot of weird motherfuckers. A lot of weird motherfuckers. San Diego's weird as fuck. Like, San Diego homeless people have like a whole fucking like tent home. Like, if you go to downtown San Diego, you see these big ass fucking tents that look like little tent mansions, and it's homeless people.
Like, hey, the circus is in town.
Facts. Like it's like a big ass fucking tent. You walk in that bitch, they probably got like a little living room in that bitch. And shit. Like it's a lot of fucking homeless people, but they got some nice ass tents and shit like that.
That's funny. Yeah, so we know you from high school. And yeah, like the last time we talked, you were still Baby Joe.
Right.
When did you make the switch to Desean?
It's when I went to college, and there was this girl. She was listening to my music, and she was like, your music doesn't match with your name being Baby Joe. And I'm like, well, this is a name that I've had since I was like a kid and stuff like that. She's like, nah, like, you need to switch your name. Like, you need to find another name. And so I was like, I can't think of another name. And she was like, well, for some reason she just asked, she was like, well, what's your actual name? And I was like, oh, Joseph Desean Hudson Clark. She was like, your middle name is Desean and you've been going by Baby Joe this whole time. She was like, you a fucking singer and you chose Baby Joe over fucking Desean. And I was like, I don't like how I'm being attacked, but okay. And she was like, why the fuck are you going by Desean? And I'm like, I don't. At the time, the only person that called me Desean was my mother when I was in trouble. So I was like, why the fuck would I want to be called Desean if the only time I hear that is if my mother's mad at me? And she's like, because that's fucking R&B. And I'm like, okay. And I finally switched it. And the fucked up part about it was I switched it. And so people know me as Desean, but everybody that still knows me still calls me Joe or Baby Joe. And so it's only new people now that's like, oh, this is Desean. And it kind of is weird for me. And they be like, oh, this is Desean. I'm like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, oh, shit, it's me. Hey, I'm like I got to snap back in like, oh, shit, yeah, it's me.
I would imagine someone just being like, oh, Desean, you're like, oh, mom, oh, hey. Yeah,
like, legit. Sometimes people, like, when I'm out in California, they'll be like, Desean, I'm like, I know my mama's not here. And then there's no I see it. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, cool. Hey, da-da-da, and all that. And then I got to decide whether or not out there, I'm like, okay, do I want to introduce myself as Joe or Desean? Because, like, if I do it as Desean, that means I got to keep it as Desean. Because I did it one time with somebody out there. They knew me as Desean, and then I met their mother, and before they could introduce me. So I met their mother, I was like, hi, my name is Joe. And then they were like, yeah, this is my friend Desean. She was like, he just said his name is Joe. He was like, whoa, is your name Joe? I'm like, all right, so look, my name is Joe, but my name is Desean. So it's just whatever the fuck you're comfortable with. So now I just got to be, like, cognizant of, like, all right, do I want to say that my name is Desean, or do I want to say my name is Joe?
Okay, that makes more sense. I've come into something similar with that, of getting tired of repeating yourself whenever you are in a situation like that. So I feel like starting to tweet very personal things, just so you don't have to keep repeating yourself, might be the move. Just like your pinned tweet is, I go by both Joe and Desean, and then you just show that to people and be like, all right, everyone get the message. I'm tired of explaining myself.
It's kind of the reason why I started using monikers. Like, you know, now you see it as like the Cognac Cowboy. I like that because
it's hard as fuck.
So hard.
Look, there's a dark story to that fucking name. So what happened was, with this same exact shit, right? I was in California. I bought a fifth of Henny. And it was supposed to be me, my partner Rue, and my partner Ben Sean. We was in the car. So I get in the car, I'm not gonna lie to you, I drank the little top part of the Hennessy. You know what I'm saying? Just a pregame. We get in the car, I'm passing the bottle around. But I knew something was wrong when the bottle kept getting back to me. And I'm like, damn, this bitch is not moving. Like, I'm like, damn, I'm taking a sip. This bitch not moving. Okay, cool. Come to find out, these motherfuckers weren't even drinking with me. They just passing the bottle back to me. So I've drunk a fifth of Hennessy before we even get to the club. Right? I get out the car, and you know that spit that you get that tastes like pure water, like you know you about to throw up?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. I took that spit out, like, it's about to be a bad night. And so, we walk in the club. For some reason, they let me order more drinks. And then everything just went into blinks after that. I blinked, there's this guy talking about, you're great. And I'm pulling my card out, buying him a drink. And I'm like, why am I buying this dude a drink? Close my eyes again. I'm talking to somebody outside the club. I'm like, how the fuck did I end up outside the club? I blink again. I'm peeing in the bushes at a McDonald's. I blink again. And this is when shit got traumatic. Is that my partner, Rue, I blink. He slaps me in my chest and goes, wake up, motherfucker. He's like, sit the fuck up. I'm like, why are you yelling? I look. My arm is covered in throw up. My chest is thrown. I'm like, oh, shit. I blink again. I'm in my bed. And I'm like, something is very wrong. Like, this ended too silently. And so I had work the next morning. And where I work at is his family owns a restaurant. So I'm at the restaurant. They was like, we didn't think he was going to come in today. And so his family just started giving me nicknames. And so they was like, oh, shit, it's the Henny Monster. It's Henny Joe. And then that's when my partner was like, shit, no, that's the Cognac Cowboy. And I was like, oh, that bitch sounds
that's so
great.
Hard.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sticking with that. And I was like, yes, that's going to be like my alter ego. Instead of it being, okay, Baby Joe and Desean, I'm like, the Cognac Cowboy. Because that describes it to the T. Is the fact that when I do get off of like some liquor, oh, fuck, I turn into the country bumpkin that I've hid for years. It just pops the fuck out. And then I'm like, all right, cool, this is great. And then plus, with that moniker, it was great because I started dabbling into like songs where I wanted to do like some country shit. And I'm like, okay, cool, if you look at me, I don't look like I even listen to country music. And I fucking love country music. To this day. But I'm like, fuck, I need to find a way to where people that listen to me is, you know, not to do some gimmick shit. Like, I ain't want to be like on some, you know, I ain't saying Old Town Road is gimmicky, but you know,
it's very gimmicky.
Okay, cool, good. Alright, it's kind of gimmicky. And I'm like, I don't want to do no gimmicky because I listen to real country music like Mark Kahn, you know, fucking Garth Brooks, shit like that. I'm listening to real country music like that. And I'm like, I want some shit that when people hear, they're not like, oh, he's trying to do country. And I'm like, that's how I came up with the last album, which was Cognac Cowboy. I was like, I want them to actually hear me actually being the country motherfucker that I am, but not it being like, hey, look at me, I got a cowboy hat, da da da. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah, I definitely caught some of those tones, but it was never like forced. It never felt forced.
Right.
Like it was like you had like a southern twang on it, but it was kind of an R&B song with a southern twang.
Right, because that's really all that fuck the country music is.
Yeah, right.
That's all. Any good country music is just somebody that sounds like they got 3 front teeth, but they just make an R&B song. That's it. And so that's how I came up with that album and shit like that. And plus, it was more of a like when the name started catching on, it was kind of a tribute to my grandfather because my grandfather's from Mississippi and shit like that. Not just any part of Mississippi. You know, when you really from an old small town, when you got to start listing shit like, hey, do you know the nearest biggest city? Then you're like, all right, cool. Like, people that don't know what Baton Rouge is, he's like, okay, do you know what New Orleans is?
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, do you know what Baton Rouge is? All right, cool. Well, do you know what Prairieville is? Okay. And he started going down the list. Like, that's the type of place my grandfather from in Mississippi. Like, okay, do you know what Jackson, Mississippi is? And he just keep going down the list.
It's like 200 miles away from that.
Right. And so it was a tribute to him because it was, my grandfather, RIP to him, he's, all that great stuff. I lost him my senior year and shit like that. And so he's from a very small town. My grandfather used to love cowboy hats, cowboy boots, and stuff like that. And so when that name started catching on, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go with that. Just as like a tribute because I'm named after my grandfather. So it was fucking great that the name caught on like how it did. And yeah, that's one of the many nicknames that I've gotten. I've gotten a lot of nicknames, and they all come from either me doing some dumb shit.
That's normally where they
come
from.
Right. It's like either me doing some dumb shit or like their family names that still come from some dumb shit.
I really just want to see you just in a full cowboy outfit, just with a bottle of Henny in a holster, and then just pull it out, take a swig, and then do like the spin like a revolver and reholster it.
The video that I dropped on my Instagram, I told my friends out in California, I was like, look, I really want to get some cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, but to throw everybody off, I want to get a fucking grill just full of guns, just to throw the whole thing off. And they were like, fuck no. They're like, fuck no, we're going to stop being friends with you if you do that country ass shit. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to wait till the Grammys. I'm going to wait till the Grammys and shit like that.
It's kind of sick, though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, come on now. Like, everybody's used to seeing cowboys, like regular cowboys with the plaid shirts and shit like that. I'm like, nah, I want y'all to see the cowboys that I know. Because if you go to fucking North Baton Rouge, there's probably some random motherfucker who is wearing Jordans on top of a fucking horse. And that's what I know. Is that they got a fucking horse and they don't have no fucking saddle on that bitch. They ride bareback on a fucking horse through fucking North Baton Rouge in the streets. And no one that's driving is like, why the fuck they got this horse? They just like, all right, come on, like, go ahead and turn. Like, they treat it like it's a fucking car. Yeah. And I'm like, I wanted to do that. But they was like, no, don't do that shit.
That was so funny.
But it's okay. I'm saving it. For when I'm at the Grammys, just know when I get my first Grammy, I'm showing up in fucking cowboy boots with the cowboy hat, with the grill, and some stupid ass shirt.
I can't wait.
Me either.
No, that story reminds me so much of Bryant Whaley. Would he care? Yeah, he wouldn't care.
I remember him actually.
Yeah, so Bryant Whaley, we were on a trip one time, and he had a bottle of Henny. And he had drank some of it like the night before or whatever. So this is like the next day. There's still probably like most of it left. He takes it with him into the shower. He comes back out an hour later with an empty bottle and he's like, hey, I just finished that. And we were like, holy shit, dude, are you okay? And he's like, I don't think so. Oh, man. He didn't survive long.
I didn't have them nights.
Yeah. I'll watch your mic.
Yeah. Just make sure you're keeping your mic.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Bring it back in. So I know it was around junior year, but when specifically did you actually start taking music seriously? Or not even seriously, when did you get started with music?
All right.
I guess I should start there.
So I started for real my freshman year. Because that's when I first got a computer, and I went and got FL to demo mode. And y'all remember Tinsley, right?
Yes.
So this is how I met Tinsley. So I used to be in the mall, right? You know, motherfuckers used to be playing for Pokemon and Bakugan and all that shit.
Some of my favorite stories from Tinsley is from him doing stupid shit at a mall. That is
No, in the mall.
In the mall at Catholic.
Oh, that's a duh.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
the
Well, also specifically in a mall, but I forgot about that.
I was in the mall, and I guess that my headphones was too loud, and so Tinsley was like, "Hey, what you doing?" And I'm like, I'm looking up because at this point I don't have that many friends. Like the only friend I had going into Catholic was Clyde because we went to middle school together. Everybody else was new as fuck, and I was like, I don't like this shit. And so Tinsley goes, "What the fuck you doing?" I'm like, music. And he's like, "Let me hear the shit." And at this point, I'm nervous as fuck about it. So I'm like, okay. I play it. He's like, "Yeah, that shit got hard." And so we was friends ever since then. Because you remember Tinsley used to be in the band.
I forget about that so much.
Everyone does. Everyone does. It was 1 year he was in the band. And so at this point, he would just be like, we would just be in the mall, and he would just come and be like, "All right, cool. Like, yeah, do that shit right there," and all that. So I started my 9th grade year. But my 9th grade year, I was just recording motherfuckers. So it was a person around the city, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my homeboy Reese. He was big around the city at this time for music. I used to just record him. But I recorded him because we was just homies from middle school, so I would just do that shit. And then it was one time he was like, "Hey, I need a hook." And so I had to make a hook. And I sung it. But I sung it for him to do it. He was like, "Nah, you sing the hook." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, I do not want to do this shit." Like, that's the thing that people don't know. I was kind of forced into doing this music shit. He was like, "Do the hook." I was like, "No." And he's like, "Sing the fucking hook." I'm like, "All right, cool." And so we go on. That song does numbers, and everyone around the city is talking about that. So then next thing you know, he was like, "Hey, you still making beats?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm making beats." So I make a beat for him. And he's like, "I only got a verse. You got to come up, help me with the rest of this." So I come up with the rest of the song, the hook and all that. And he's like, "That's your song." And I'm like, "What the fuck you mean that's my song? I don't even make music. I don't even have a fucking name. Like, how the fuck am I gonna put this?" He's like, "Put it out." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So that was 9th grade year. And then sophomore year, I finally was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do music." And so that's when I put out Unread Messages, the first one.
Okay.
And I was scared as fuck. Like, I was so scared with that shit that, you remember Mr. Shoots?
Yes.
He had found out. Because Gennaro had sent it to Mr. Shoots. And we was in the fucking, the union in the fucking morning. Mr. Shoots goes, "Hey, come here." And so he goes, "I heard your music." I'm like, "Oh, they about to kick me out of Catholic." I'm like, my mama gonna whoop my ass for fucking getting kicked out of Catholic for some fucking music. And so he was like, "I like it. It was really great." I'm like, I'm cursing up a storm. This motherfucker talking about pussy and fucking robbing people. And he's like, "Yeah, it's great. You got potential, da-da-da. Bing. I'm like, "Okay, cool." So then that's when the motherfuckers that was in the class of 16, they started sending it around. And shit, because I was on the football team, so they just started sending that motherfucker around. And so then junior year came, I dropped the second one. But by then I was serious. Mm-hmm. But the problem with the second one was a lot of people didn't like the second one because it was R&B as fuck. Mm-hmm. And they were just like, "Nah, we want you to rap." And I'm like, "I'm not a rapper." I'd be singing, they're like, "Nah, rap, motherfucker." Like, "Nah, like we," because the thing was, on the first I had one song where I rapped. They were like, "Nah, we want bars like that, rap, bitch." And I'm like, I sang, but I mean, these are sounding great.
Is Volume 2 the one with pineapples?
Yes.
Okay, pineapples was the big standout for me.
That's what I'm saying. And the majority of that one was just me singing. I had one song where I was rapping. They're like, "Nah, bitch, rap." And so senior year came, and that album, the one that was the actual album that came on streaming services, I worked on that bitch for like 6 months. It was me. You remember Peyton North?
Yes.
It was me, Peyton North, Nicholas Cesar, and Tinsley. We would go and record, because this one we came out with titties too. And so we would record, and like I would have them come to the house, and we would just be like listening to the shit. And so we would listen and all that until they was finally like, "Look, it's ready." Because I was like critical. I was like, "Look," for some reason I thought this album was gonna be the album I fucking blow. I was like, "This has to be perfect because I'm about to be a fucking star in this bitch." I don't think that many people listen to it, but it was the fact that when I dropped that bitch and motherfuckers was like, oh, this is actually good. And at first I was disappointed. I was like, bitch, I must be a star right now. But they was like, oh no, that's really good. Like da 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 da. And I was like, that was the first time I really like took the time on that motherfucker. So that's why senior year it kind of seemed like that's when I took it serious. Because before I was only just sending the shit out to a couple people, and they was sending out to people. That was the first one where I just sent that bitch to everybody. Remember I did like a group email with like everybody in the fucking school, and I was like, listen to this shit. And yeah.
I do remember that. Actually, that's hilarious. When did you start? Sorry. Oh no, you already answered that. It's a year and a half ago. Was moving to San Diego because of music, or was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you just trying to gain connections, or what?
It was because of music, and I had got into some trouble here. I got into some trouble in college, and I wasn't really focusing on shit. And so I went through like a little dark period. So that's when my dad was like, hey, like, come out here and just start fresh. And I was just like, fuck it! I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and shoot out there. Not knowing what the fuck to expect and not realizing that like the only person I knew was my fucking dad. And I ain't know him. So it was kind of like just moving somewhere without knowing anyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was just like, fuck. And that shit is fucking like jumping in fucking cold water. Like, you just like, fuck, I don't even know who the fuck to talk to. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, and so I just kind of, the first 6 months of me being there, which nobody really knows, this first 6 months of me being there was fucking terrible. Like, it was terrible. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I know no one. I have no friends. I don't fuck with my dad like that. Like, we just now getting like this. I'm like, bro, I want to come home. But I'm like, I can't come home. And so at this point, I'm just like, fuck. And so that's when I just like, alright, just attached to the music. So like, if you listen to my music, that's why it's that big ass jump from like, there's volume 3, there's the shit I put out on SoundCloud, and then out of nowhere there's the shit that I started putting out on like all them bitches, and people would be like, what the fuck? Like, how did you jump from this shit? And I'm just like, all I had was music at the time and shit like that. So it was just like, I just did that. And then after I kind of got comfortable, starting like where I was at, it was just like, well, fuck it. If I'm going to focus this much on music, I'll just keep fucking doing it. And then it just started turning into a fucking habit of me just like, all right, bet I'm going to just put, not unnecessary, because it's necessary, but I'm going to put more hours in than everybody else.
That's how you do it. I mean, that's kind of our thing with this podcast. We were like, yeah, a bunch of people start a podcast, but they probably don't.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Watching y'all shit went from like, because me and you've been talking for a minute. It went from like, okay, this is just an idea, to that bitch just like, you see now, like we here, this shit is official. This shit is great. I was excited as fuck to come to this bitch and shit like that. Like I like that. I like when I see that in other people, and I saw that with this podcast and shit like that. Like I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. Like, because I see this shit, actually, coming into something, like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be able to say, like, not only did I support y'all in the sense of, like, okay, cool, I reposted y'all shit, all like, you can do, it don't take nothing to repost some shit like that, but I actually want to be, like, a little time stamp in the history of this shit. Because, you know what I'm saying? Shit like this, we live in an age of everything is online and shit like that, so we don't think, okay, take a little time stamp. Because no one thinks, all right, let's take a picture. Boom, like that. Because, back in like the 90s, all they had was them little disposable cameras and shit like that. But, it's like, all right, cool, let me say, not just say like, okay, yeah, I fuck with them back then. Like, I was trying to I actually want to be a part of the process.
Yeah. Not to get like super meta, but like, I think, that's the best part of like this podcast. It's like every guest we've had on, we've always bonded over that, where it's like, oh yeah, this is someone who's trying to like, do something, do something interesting, whatever. Everyone's like, yeah, that's what y'all are doing. I'm like, yeah.
That's not how it started, but that's how it's going.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing. The shit that is naturally, it's natural. It's not like y'all was like, bet, we gonna have the best the podcast in the fucking world. The shit, like how I said, it started off as fuck it. If everybody doing this, then fuck it, why the fuck not?
Yeah. And
the fact that it's that organic, and even just sitting here in this process of this interview, that it's going well. It's not like it's very forced, like it's, all right, let's wait for the next question. Shit like that. the chemistry between y'all, and then the fact of, you know what I'm saying, as I've heard on other podcasts and sitting here right now, the chemistry between y'all, and then plus y'all using that to incorporate everybody else, that shit that people gonna eat up and love.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think it goes back to like
gassing us up.
I ain't gassing. Look here. I have no. Look, for the people that's looking here, you know what I'm saying? I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not. This is literally just the fact that I fuck with them so much in that sense. There's no. This is not a fucking sponsored or a fucking ad or whatever. This is just me off the heart.
Which leads to our next set. No, I'm just kidding.
This is our sponsor, Honey.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait for it. It actually drops this Friday, but we had Kime and Cesar on last week, and their episode drops on Friday. And we ended it with like a fake raw rolling papers ad, and it was very entertaining.
So I love both of them, not equally, because Cesar has a special place in my heart. But I love Andy so much. Oh my god, I knew back in the G that Andy was going to do something with music, but that was before he knew he was going to do something with music.
I'm glad he found it, because I just remember him like thinking nothing of it, and then just inquire, just going
just singing like a motherfucker.
Well, just shredding the keys. Like, that man is so good at piano. That it was. I was like, dude, I'm surprised you're not doing anything with this.
Yeah, I feel like he can literally do anything. You know, like he's rapping right now, but he was also in a band. He was singing in the band. He was playing keys in the band. He was playing. I think he said he started playing a little guitar.
He plays bass too. I think.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's
I'm
bass.
like, dude, literally anything in the music industry. He's like, yeah, I can do that. It's fine. So multifaceted guy.
Facts. And he's still funny as fuck to talk to.
Yeah. Also, Elliot, I think what we should start doing is we should just do a Honey ad read every single episode, even though they're not paying us, until they do pay us. I just thought of that.
Fake it till you make it.
Can we also do that and then
just do a
and then
fake
publicly beef with Manscaped? Like we did? We reached out to Manscaped and they were like, "Sorry, you're not big enough." So then our roommate was just
hey,
like,
fuck him.
That's what he did. He tweeted at Manscaped for like 4 weeks in a row and was just like, "Hey, fuck Manscaped, sponsor my friend's podcast."
Facts. Fact. Hey, fuck him. Go find the competitor.
Yeah.
Whoever the fuck is going against him,
Just like
fuck that. Come give us
razors or something.
I really just like it because all the big podcasts are like sponsored by the same people, so it's like almost a meme.
Yeah,
to be sponsored by them and do a sponsorship. I'm good for now. But yeah, do you want to do Answer the Internet before we kind of like dive back shit and cover some other things?
Sure. So we always do an Answer the Internet, which was Barstool's little game. Basically, they'd have a YouTube series where they would ask these crazy questions from the internet. Anyway, so they made it a deck, and so we always do one of these. So
so I gotta come up quick.
So yeah, so
not quick, but like it's just something we're
So the question of the week is: would you rather be a pig and be able to orgasm for 30 minutes, or be a lion and be able to have sex 60 times a day?
Give me the 30 minutes. Give me the 30 minutes because I've had meat and beat sessions where I done got 7 nuts off.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to that. By the time you get to 4, you're like, this shit hurts. But if you give me a good one that lasts 30 minutes,
that's like a good portion.
Right. 30 minutes of me feeling the climax. Give me that.
Okay. I'd have to agree with that. I've been able to put some numbers on the board.
That's what
So I have an inkling of what that's like. Obviously, it's like 10 times more than that, but
60 times.
But I don't know. I'd be interested in a 30-minute climax.
Yeah, I think the 30-minute one is just it's better in terms of like use, because you don't have time to fuck 60 times a day, One 30-minute chunk I could do, but 60 separate times, like man.
I mean, it'd be easier if you're going for the you can then put up the 24 for the 6,
true.
12, 18, 24 challenge.
You know the 6, 12, 18, 24 challenge?
I don't.
Okay.
Explain.
So we keep saying we're going to do it. We haven't done it yet because it's a lot of planning.
Yeah.
But it's basically, there are 4 categories, and you have to do one of each, and you get to choose which. And it's times jerked off, donuts eaten, beers drinking, and miles run.
Yeah, so you get to choose of 6, 12, 18, or 24 which one you do that one number of times. So the general consensus is 6 beats, 12 miles run, 18 donuts, or like 18 beers and
18
24
beers
donuts.
and donuts. People we've heard different consensus
because
people alternate.
you have the full 24 hours. You have a full 24-hour period. So I mean, 24 beers and 18 donuts in 24 hours, I can do easy. Running 12 miles
in between
is
that
kind of just hard.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I'd switch to miles and meat beats.
I don't think I could do 12 in a day.
12?
I don't think so. I can't. But then again, I've heard that I'm on the lower side, so everyone else is like we could do it.
I'd say, are we talking about enjoyable meat beats?
No.
It's
purely purely getting that bitch out.
Get it out of the way.
Fuck that! I'm buying fucking 10 gas station pills and going dumb. Give me them little rhino bitches. I'm throwing them bitches. Are we doing this for money or are we just doing it just cause?
No, it's kind of a race, but it's
also
really
kind
like
of
a marathon.
love of the game.
It's like a marathon.
Well, fuck it. If we just doing it for the love of the game and bragging rights, give me like 10 fucking, not even 10 rhino pills. Give me like 5 rhino pills. You can get like 2 nuts off them rhino pills. So give me like 5 rhino pills. I can get 12 of the bitches out. Running 6 miles, I can do 6. Cause that 12 bitch,
12, yeah, that's a lot. That's half a marathon.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, nah. Yeah. But 6 miles running, you can do that in the morning.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Like wake up. I'm thinking wake up at midnight.
That's
drink a beer, eat a donut, jack off, run a mile. Boom, you're done with one of your each, and then you got your day started.
See, that's the thing. I'm stupid. I would fucking binge the fucking beer at the end.
Actually, that's a good idea.
Look, I'd get the 6 and the 12 out first, and say if I can get that shit done. If I'm buying the rhino pills, if I'm using your logic, bet we wake up at midnight, right? Wake up at midnight. At midnight, oh yeah. If I time the nuts out, that'd be like midnight.
You'd have
2
to.
o'clock.
It's more of like a can you do it, and I think you'd have to really plan it.
Yeah, so midnight, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So we at 3 right now. 6, 8, and then 10. So by 10 o'clock, I'm done with the nuts.
Yeah,
and
that's a pretty good time too.
So just run in between the nuts, right?
Yeah.
So run 2 miles in between the nuts because that's 6 nuts. Run 2 miles between each.
1
nut.
mile. 1 mile. If you're doing 12 nuts total.
Oh, you're doing 12 nuts total.
Wait, sorry. I didn't know what was your numbering.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you had 12 miles.
Right. So we do that. We run 2 miles in between.
Okay, yeah.
Right. We exercise and get your libido back up, all that shit. Right. So boom, you back at it. Boom, you do that at 10 o'clock. So now you got 10 to 12 a.m. to drink 18 beers or 18 donuts.
And that's just a good day.
That's
18
right.
beers and 24
You having fun at that point.
That's just a good
You
day.
can space them bitches out. Like, you ain't got to do it like, all right, cool. Like, it feels like, all right, bet I'm done at 10 p.m. I got to get this all in it.
You're just like,
oh, that's a good day.
I just got some donuts and some beer, and I'm...
Right. And does it have to be each? Or can I do 9 donuts, 9 beers?
What do you mean?
So it's 18 total, right?
No, so it's 18 of one and 24 of the other.
Oh, 24.
So it's 6, 12, 18, 24.
Oh, shit.
I was going to do 24 beers and drink a beer an hour. And space it out that way.
No.
Yeah, but you can crush 24 beers in like...
I mean,
because you'd have... How many hours would you have left? You'd have 14 more hours.
You'd have to... It would have to be natty, first off.
Yeah, that's like natural light. No, it has to be ultra. Because it's so light.
I don't want to wake up with a haircut, so I'd have to go with not a haircut, a headache. I'd have to. I'm going with the ultras.
Yeah, think about natty will hydrate you the most when you're running.
Hydrate?
What? No,
there's so much water. There's so much water.
Yeah, so is ultra. Ultra's has no beer, basically.
Okay.
It's like so.
You need whatever's the least filling because you're gonna fill up on the donuts. Yeah. And also that hydrates you the most.
Yeah, I think I have to go 18 donuts.
Can I smoke in between?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You can't like.
Oh, cool. Then we doing 24 donuts. Cause I can kill 2 dozen. I get loaded. I can kill 24 donuts. That's what I'm saying. You keep less on the beer, so you don't wake up with a fucking headache.
Yeah.
Right. So we do 18 beers. Right. So if we done at 10, fuck, you can get through 18 beers about like 4 o'clock. Like, that's generous. That is generous. If you from 10 to 4,
yeah, if you're really
that's generous. That's 6 hours to get through fucking.
If you're putting in the work.
That's 3 beers an hour.
I mean, you have okay. It wouldn't feel great,
right? But it's 3 beers an hour.
Yeah.
And you say natty light. You got to drink 3 of them bitches to feel anything anyway.
I guess that's true.
Right?
I
So
feel
you're
like
gonna be
that's
drunk.
gonna
You're
come-
gonna be fucked up.
Yeah, you're gonna be drunk.
But you could do it.
Right.
And then you have the rest of the
Then
day.
after that, I'd say smoke, and then you can eat donuts for whatever the fuck long you feel.
Yeah, you got 6 more hours or 8 more hours.
Damn.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I have no idea how we started talking about this.
I don't either, but I'm glad we talked about it.
Yeah. So that was that's the 612 1824. What the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know.
That's the internet.
That's the internet. Yeah. So the lion one would be useful for the 612 1824 because you can do 24 nuts and then you can do everything else lower, which would be awesome.
Right, because 30-minute nuts and you gotta do 60
Oh my
bitches.
god, yeah, that's not happening.
So I think you kind of already answered this, or you did, but like, what is the official end goal with this?
Oh, So with me going, I just finished school.
And what did you go to school for again? Because
I went to school for music production and audio engineering. That's what my degree is in.
Okay.
Sweet.
So, thing is that the music production and audio engineering, a lot of people don't know, that's my backup plan.
Oh, okay.
My backup plan is to be a producer and be an engineer because I know I can make money from it. And the thing is, people ask me all the time, they're like, okay, which one would you rather? It depends on the day that I wake up. When I wake up, it's like, some days I wake up and I'm like, all right, cool, I just want to produce for people. Some days I wake up and I'm like, I want to be the fucking main character in this bitch. And so, it flip-flops, but I understand. The thing that I'm trying to make myself understand is that I need to be good at both. Like, as good as I am as one, I need to be good at the other one. The problem is, I'm kind of a little bit better at being an artist than I am at being an engineer. And the thing is, my end goal for all of this is the same thing I said when I was a kid, is that I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered for more than just, okay, cool, he was a cool artist, da-da-da-da. Next you know, I fade away in 10 years. I want to be remembered as like a great fucking person. Like, I want to be able to, when people think of me, they don't think of me just for music. Or they don't think of me just for, like, if I did, like, charity work. I want people, when they remember me, not only do they remember me for what I did, but there's evidence of it within people. You see what I'm saying? Like, like people would be like, damn, he touched my life for this. And look, I was a 6-year-old telling motherfuckers this. They was like, what you want me to do when you grow up? I was like, remember. Imagine if you're a fucking a teacher that just got out of college and some fucking little 6-year-old is like, I want to be remembered. Like, you gonna be like, what the fuck is this?
I think somebody who did that really well is, I want to say, I think it was Joyner Lucas's last album that he dropped like a few weeks ago. It was just like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they were just asking a bunch, and then he was just like, I want to be an entrepreneur that's a very successful rapper. And he just like went on this whole thing and scared the shit out of the teacher. So I love hearing that when you just kind of scare the fuck out of teachers.
Yeah, that was my real life. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say I was a fucked up kid. But I had an accelerated childhood, you know what I'm saying? We would be in class. I remember in 7th grade, my teacher was like, she'd go over to class, what's your favorite TV show? And everybody was like, SpongeBob, Timmy Turner, da da da. And I was like, Will and Grace. I'm like, Will and Grace, Frasier, like the nanny. Because that's all the fuck I would watch with my mom. And so I'm like, my teacher would be like, you don't watch that. I'm like, I do. And this shit like that. And so it goes back to the same shit. It was like, I've always been like that. Where I just wanted to be remembered. I just never knew what I could be remembered for. And now that I've gotten older and I realize with this music stuff, like, hey, like, I tell people all the time, like, this just is a gateway for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like the end of my being is just going to be, oh, he was a great musician. I feel like this shit just going to lead me into other shit. You know what I'm saying? It's going to lead me into some other shit. I think about stuff for movies. I think about, you know, stuff for spirituality and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Me and you used to have what it was, Mr. LeBeau class.
Yeah.
We had Mr. LeBeau class and he would sit right behind me and shit like that. And all that. And I've always been a very spiritual person. So a lot of times with my music, this is me giving myself away. If you listen to music, if you ever want to know when I write a song, like I literally sat down and write it, if I don't curse, I probably wrote it. Like if I don't curse at all, I wrote the song. If not, it was just off the dome. And even when I'm off the dome, a lot of times I end up, you know, gearing back towards spirituality and shit like that. Because one of my things my grandmother always said, she was like, look, the Lord gave you a gift, you gotta use it. And I don't mean to get spiritual in this bitch, but that's pretty much how I am. And since like now that I've gotten older, I'm like, all right, cool. they got, I finally saw my little cousins. They go to Catholic now. They freshmen. They listen to me now. And I'm like, what the fuck? They listen to my music. I can't be saying dumb shit. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta start it. I have to give a message. I'm always, it's never been my music. It's never just been like, money, cars, pussy. You know what I'm saying? My music always been like, I'm talking about some shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta really live that. Cause like, there's people listening now. Like I see my analytics from my music. A lot of my listeners are young. They either young or old as hell. If you old, you ain't trying to hear no bullshit of somebody that's just 20. If you young, you'll listen to anything. So it's like, damn. It's not like it puts me in a corner where I'm like, fuck, I don't really talk about it. Let me just be like, hey, God is great. Like, the little meme about Chance the Rapper where it was like, I love my wife. Like, I want to be like that where I'm like all these great shit and all that. But I don't want to go too deep end of like my life. So it's like, it's in the sense where I'm like, fuck, I got to make sure that my message is geared towards the right shit. And so, it's weird for me. It's really weird for me sometimes with music because I want to say, everything that I want to say, but I also understand that the consumer is always right to where like, it's like, okay, cool, I need to make shit palatable. And that's a very difficult task for me to think about making shit palatable because who the fuck are you trying to satisfy? You can't satisfy everybody. So it's like, fuck, can't satisfy everybody, but it's also like, fuck, you can't just be like, fuck it, I'ma do me. Yeah. Scoop to the poop type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. So it's a real difficult position as a musician.
Yeah. But I feel like
a
lot of times some artists' best work is whenever they're like, fuck the audience, like, I just want to do whatever I want to do.
That's how I felt this last album. Because like I was so fucking scared being like, let me do some country shit. Cause I was like, motherfuckers, when they heard the last album before this one was Deuce's uncle, right? Which shout out to my little nephew, he was born on the 29th and shit like that. But I was scared because I was like, this is nothing like the last album. Like nothing about it was like the last album. I was like, I'm really afraid motherfuckers gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Like, I like this last shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing right now? And so it's kind of scary, especially as an artist. Because it's like, I'm the type of person, I don't want to do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, you can go through all of my songs. You can put them bitches on shuffle. You'll never hear a song that sounds the same as the other one, which is very difficult, very taxing. But, like, I don't want to do the same thing twice. So it's like, fuck, like, I gotta, not reinvent myself, but I gotta show different facets of myself in that way. And it's kind of scary sometimes. You don't know how people want to accept you. And especially with music, a lot of people don't realize you have to be self-aware a lot. Because if not, you end up like somebody like Lil Pump in them where like they didn't even take into consideration how people looked at them to where like now they're just a fad. Like I don't want to be a fad. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to let my shit live the test of time.
I think Kanye West is the best example I give for that, is that reinventing yourself, while difficult, is what gives you that longevity.
Facts.
And
not reinventing yourself in the sense of like you just disregard everything about you. Mm-hmm. You keep the core, but you understand your audience, so you tailor that.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that a lot because, like I said, whenever listening to Cognac Cowboy, it started out a little bit completely different vibe than. I think I looked back on my story and I made the comment of it, but it was too long, the opening track of Deuce's Uncle.
Yeah.
So it was like, I remember listening to that and I was like, this sounds like some Trap Soul shit with the sample and just like, and I was just like, I love this. And then I listened to the Cognac Cowboy and I was like, this is not the same vibe at all, but it's refreshing. So it's nice not listening to the same thing over and over again, like you said. So.
Yeah, Cognac Cowboy has been by far like my favorite project of yours.
Thank you.
Which you hit the nail on the head, or the fucking whatever. Palatable, very palatable. As an album as a whole, I think that was by far like front to back, just solid.
That is one thing I've been told a lot on my albums is that you can listen to them from the first track to the last and won't have to skip.
It flowed great. It was
And look, the process of me is, so I can say with Cognac Cowboy, it was 50 songs that was in the actual picking though, right? I had to cut it down to 15.
That has to be like the hardest part, I feel like.
As fuck! I don't think you understand, because I'm like, this first song, because the first song to me makes or breaks the album. Because I'm like, the first song has to be able to either A, convey the message, or A, keep them listening. Right? You put a bullshit first song, or if you do what most artists do, they're like, oh, put my best song that's doing on the charts. You put it there, so if you put your best song that's charting on there, right? After listening, they're like, well, fuck, I've heard the song I want to hear, so like, I'm about to leave. Or if you put a song that's some bullshit, they're like, I don't want to listen to the rest of this. You have to put a song that is in between where it's like, boom. It's like, oh shit, this shit's hard. What's next? You have to put a song right there that's like, oh shit, what's next? Like, you don't want to give them too much and all that. And people don't understand it. Because a lot of people don't give a fuck about their track list. They'll just, oh shit, I got these songs? Fuck it. Shuffle them bitches and put them on there. But it's like, to me, that shit's sacred to me. Because it's like, the process of like how you listen, I want you to go through the journey of it. And plus, I also don't, for the average consumer who's not that deep into music, I want it to be like, oh shit, this hard, but what's next? And then when you hear the next song, like, oh shit, this hard, but what next? And so you keep going and keep going. Now they're like, oh shit, I've listened to this whole fucking album and all that. That's why my albums, like even this one being 15 songs, it was on 37 minutes. Mm-hmm. And shit like that. Which was intentional, because it's like, people's attention spans are short, but I also want people to get used to, okay, this 15 fucking songs, this is a full length album, let me listen to this shit. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times people now, they're like, you know, people love to be like, oh, well, you Gen X, what we are, Gen Z?
Gen Z, yeah.
It's like, Gen Z don't have no attention span. Songs back in the 50s and 60s used to be 2 minutes. Sometimes only a minute and 30 seconds. Like, stop it. Like, y'all were doing the same bullshit. Just because in the 80s when motherfuckers was like, fuck, we gotta make songs 6 or 7 minutes. Like, that was the only time period where they were like that. And that was because they would put 2 songs together. Like,
or have like a 3-minute guitar solo.
Yeah. Right.
Shit like that.
Yeah. Or repeat the same shit. Like no, like any other time in history, they were short songs. So, it's like, alright, cool, let's get back to that. And everything like that. But I wanted to get back to, okay, you listen to the whole album. Because if you can listen to the whole album, then if I'm like, all right, cool, I have this hard disk copy of this album, you go, oh shit, yeah, I'll get that. And it's just that. It's kind of trying to turn back the time of, okay, let's move from streaming shit to where you pick your favorite songs, put it in your playlist, and then now you don't give a fuck about the album to like, let me listen to the whole album.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a thing that's like, that's been a shift not recently, but I guess in like the last few years, where it's like, it's been a shift from singles to back to albums, where like people are so much more involved. I don't know if it's just because I'm more involved in like in music now, but I feel like the people that I've been around are more like.
That's also because people love vinyls now.
That's true. Yeah, actually.
People are, people love to, not the hippies, but the hipsters. They want to feel different, and now that everyone wants to be a hipster, it's like, all right, cool, well, I'm streaming this music, but let me listen to this vinyl. Let me throw this on right here.
And you can't really do that if the album sucks. Like,
exactly.
Because then, also, they're so expensive, you're not going to go buy a fucking, like, single vinyl.
Right.
Like,
right. Nobody sells a fucking single vinyl no more. Nobody's giving out them 15
Except for Post Malone, surprisingly. I remember seeing the Rockstar vinyl
Post Malone's
everywhere.
Fan base. Post Malone is in a realm of, it's just him, I would say Drake, Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, where they're really in the realm of pop star. To where anything they do, people will fuck with.
Yeah.
Hairstyles.
Hairstyles too, yes.
Well, I found that out recently. Like,
I love him. So. Ain't that the motherfucker, the watermelon sugar?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Him and that fucking Adore You. Oh, that's my shit.
Bangers.
Facts.
Bangers only.
Facts.
I didn't have anything. I just said
Yeah. No. I didn't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about country music, because I did not know you were a country music fan.
Oh yeah, Elliot hates country music.
I don't actually, but it's kind of a running joke that I hate country music. So
yeah, for
our fans out there, I hate country music.
Yeah,
that's the thing. My grandfather, like I said, he's from the depths of Mississippi. So my grandfather used to watch westerns and listen to country music. Because guess what? Grandfather was born in 1935. So that means that.
And from Mississippi, yeah.
Facts. Facts. He remembers Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit that motherfuckers joke about motherfuckers from Mississippi, he remembers that shit. And so my grandfather would, I would listen to the music that he would listen to and shit like that. And then he influenced how my mom listened to music and shit like that. And then plus my mom overcorrected from her situation. You know what I'm saying? My mother is from North Baton Rouge, right? But she was like, you know what I'm saying, there's more to life. So my mother listened to like Guns N' Roses, the Eagles, and stuff like that. So when I grew up, I didn't listen to my own type of music till like 6th grade. So I had to listen to what my mother listened to. So I listened to gospel music, the Eagles, the Beatles. She listened to country music and stuff like that. So that's how I got into country music and stuff. So like with Garth Brooks, stuff like that. One of my favorite songs is Mark Kahn's "Walking in Memphis." Oh, if you want to see me act your ass, put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane. That's my fucking shit. That's my shit. That one, the classic that everybody that if they grew up in the hood, they fucking love. That Nelly, Tim McGraw. It's all in my head. Oh, that one.
Whenever you said you're like R&B and country, I'm like, it's like Nelly, but
Nelly was the first bridge in between. If you were older, we not that old. Older motherfuckers like my mom and then they had, Hootie and the Blowfish, and you know what I'm saying? They got Darius Ruck and all that. My mom remembers that shit. I don't remember that shit. You know what I'm saying? So the first introduction to country to me was fucking Nelly with that fucking I think about it over and over again. I'm like, oh, this shit slaps. You know what I'm saying? And then like I hate to say this, and I'm probably gonna say this again. Early Taylor Swift was my fucking shit. I saw it at the Slam Street doors.
I'll stand by Taylor Swift until I die. Like, I mean, she's made some questionable music recently, but
I was just gonna say 2013 and back Taylor Swift, all the fucking bangers.
All bangers.
What?
Just heat for like 3 albums in a row.
Now I kind of want to know. I am extremely impressed with your music palette, and now I kind of want to go hear the unique depths of it. Take us to the very interesting stuff that most people might not think that you listen to, and or you also just I don't know, just.
I would say I would go first what I don't listen to. I don't like bro country music. Anything you would hear in the frat house,
like just any country music.
Stadium country.
Stadium. There we go. That shit. I don't like.
Did you see the Bo Burnham song where he made fun of Stadium Country?
I didn't.
Well, I'll show you that.
But look, Bo Burnham, that's the comedian, right?
Yeah.
I fucking love his stand-up when he does music and shit. Yeah. The shit is fucking great. But I would say my palette goes between shit like I love classical music, like Stravinsky, shit like that, where you would go into like those motherfuckers that was, Mozart, all that, because I had to learn that during school. I love shit like that. I fucking love yacht rock. If you ever wanted me to see me fucking act ass, play some yacht rock. Play some Doobie Brothers. Play some Steely Dan's. Play some fucking what's another motherfuckers that was out in there? Motherfucking Toto. The motherfuckers that made Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Them Fleetwood fucking Mac. I fucking love Fleetwood Mac. Like fucking Dreams. I'll be with you everywhere. That was my shit. And shit like that. I love Fleetwood Mac. I love the Eagles. I love the Beatles so much. I love fucking Paul McCartney. That's my favorite Beatle. It's Paul McCartney. Shit like that. Like Band on the Run and Let It Be and them
Band on the Run. Solid song. I love that song.
Like what? Guitar Hero World Tour is the reason why I kept expanding my palette. Because my mama bought me that shit, and I was like, what the fuck are these songs for this motherfucker? And I just listened to all them bitches. I was like, oh,
Guitar
this
Hero
is great.
Introduced it, like, it's so funny because
it brought our age group like
together, like, and musically. Like, so many people of our age group know all the same songs because of Guitar Hero. Like, it'll be like...
That's true.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can think of it. Oh, what's it called? My fucking Dragonfire.
Oh yeah, Through the Fire and the Flames. We listened to that
Nobody
song.
knows that song except for because of Guitar Hero.
What's my favorite one from Guitar Hero? Motherfucking Living on a Prayer. Oh. Motherfucking play that bitch, I will act a fucking whoa, all that shit. What? That one? What's another song that's some random shit?
Rocky Like a Hurricane was on that one.
The Outfield Josie's on a vacation for
Oh
Your Love.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one.
The Joker. The Joker's a solid one.
I love that one. And Pina Coladas. Oh, I fucking love Pina Coladas. I love that one so much. I remember when they did that remix to Drake's Tuesday and put it on Pina Coladas. I was like, I'm upset.
I'm gonna need to hear that.
Look, you don't think about it. You know, the club going up. You're like, okay, cool. Then they play them bitches together. Mind blowing.
That's
mind fucking blowing. But what's some other random shit that I listen to? I listen to I love bachata. I love a lot of Latin music. I would listen to bachata.
Do you listen to reggaeton at all? Or
yes. No? I listen to fucking J Balvin, fucking Bad Baby, fucking Aventura.
Aventura is the king of bachata.
What?
Aventura hits differently.
That motherfucking
if you look on the Apple Music bachata recommended, they're literally 70% of the fucking playlist. That is how big they are in that genre.
Motherfucking Obsession. Oh, that's my shit. Amor, no es amor.
That and was it Immortal? That's another one that I like.
What's the other one? I am only human and I feel like shit. I'm sorry. That one. Oh fuck! I fucking love fucking bachata music and all that shit. What's some more shit that people probably wouldn't think that I fucking like? I really like folk music. Folk music, electro pop, stuff like that. Like a band that I don't know if I should say this on camera. 1975.
I love the 1975.
I love
they
1975. I love Rex Orange County.
Oh,
I love fucking who's some of them motherfuckers? I got Tame Impalas. I got into them.
See him.
Got what? Why you always here with me? Can't be clip him and fucking Kenny Beats on that motherfucker. Who's some more?
I saw a picture of Kenny today, dressed literally like a dad, and it made me feel so good. I was like, this dude is producing bangers and rap, and
he's fucking 6'7".
He's
the bitch is big as hell.
That tall? Oh my god!
He's like 6'7", and he went to school for fucking music.
Yeah, he went to Berkeley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was wearing just jeans and just a Patagonia pullover with the dad hat, and I was like, oh. I mean, I think he was also smoking a blunt, so I guess that spiced it up a little bit. But
he still looks like a fucking dad, and I should have known he was tall as a bitch when motherfuckers would be standing up behind him, and he's still like the same height as them.
He probably took on the dad role because Zach Fox needs a dad. He needs some parental advisory.
Is a fucking national treasure.
He really is.
We have to protect him.
He's back on Twitter, thank God.
I love the fact that when I see Zach Fox featured on a fucking song, I'm like, I have to fucking listen to it. I have to. What's some more random shit that I fucking listen to? I listen to a lot of shit.
Yeah, no, you literally have hit almost every fucking genre.
What is like fucking Adele? Oh, shit like fucking Adele. Shit like fucking. I used to listen to Beck, the motherfucker that won like Grammys and shit.
Yeah, like just like modern Beck.
Old Beck when he used to fuck with Childish Gambino. Back in 2012.
I did not know he did that.
Go listen to Royalty mixtape by Childish Gambino.
Right.
Oh, I have. Is he on that?
Yes.
I haven't listened to Royalty in fucking forever.
Yes,
Royalty
he has like his own song in the bitch.
Royalty is with fucking
Blake Griffin on the front.
Unnecessary banger. Schoolboy Q at Soul.
Real Estate.
Real Estate with Tina Fey. That was
what?
Yes. Tina Fey raps on because he was a writer. He was a writer on SNL
and he was a writer on 30 Rock.
He was on 30 Rock and he had some cameos. So he he got Tina Fey to do some in verse. And it was so fucking funny.
Hilarious.
I'll play it for you later. But.
He had Beck on there and like it was this group like the Ham Sisters. It was
Haim? Yeah.
Haim, yeah.
They're fucking amazing. Yeah. They are so good. They're like three, aren't they like from Wales or Scotland or some shit like that? And they're three sisters, and they are fucking beautiful. I'll play some of their songs, and you've probably heard of them.
But that's how I found out about Beck and shit.
I used to listen to that next tape again.
What it was. James Blake, I fuck with James Blake.
James Blake's solid.
Obviously, I fuck with Frank Ocean. You know, sad boy hours. Who's another fucker that people don't really think that I would fuck with like that? And you'd have to name people because I don't.
You hit a lot of. You surprised us with everyone.
Yeah, even like old rock shit. Like I started to get into fucking Pink Floyd. When I went to school out in California, I started to get into like Pink Floyd. I started to get into
the skater scene.
Started to get into that grunge shit. and shit like that. I actually listened to them, and then I started to get into what's one more like sing that was like some shit that I like that I started liking. Shit, fucking the Flaming Tips. They some electronic shit. It's from like 2002. Okay. And the reason I got into them because we was having a class on like mixing and surround sound. And so they have the same engineer from the people from Steely Dan. And there's a song called Yoshima Battles the fucking robots.
Yeah.
And then Ego Tripping at the Gates of Hell.
I love them.
Hey.
Flaming Lips,
yeah. Whoo, when I heard that shit in surround sound, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Dude, they're crazy. Yeah, that whole song is like, yeah, it's very, what's the word? Environmental? I don't know.
What you think about? I know the word that you're fucking thinking about.
It's
not experimental. It's
I don't know.
Right.
Whatever. Yeah, that like in my car. Like I remember the first time I heard it, like not in headphones, because I had forgotten about that song for years. I listened to it in my car, and dude, kind of, it's just an experience. It's also such a weird song. Like they are crazy. It's like you've heard it. I played it for you.
You probably have. I mean,
it's like
nothing's in the right spot. Everything is fucking moving, and the lyrics. It's not like they be talking about some deep shit.
Yeah.
If you just listen to the lyrics, you're like, these motherfuckers have to be high as hell.
It's about like a lady ninja who's fighting off robots,
right,
destroying the world.
Yes. Okay. By all of those words, I remember exactly what you're talking about.
Killer song.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. Shit like that I'll listen to too. Like I don't listen to anything except fucking Stadium Country. Like, that is where I draw the line at.
That's what got me too. I'm with that.
Like I will listen to fucking Zydeco music, any fucking thing. If you give me a song and it sounds good sonically, I will listen to it. But
I heard the worst song of all time the other day. It is called Beard 30, and it's by. Hold on, I need to find it because I was like, let me find some new country music because I've listened to the same oldies for forever. I'm like, let me see if anything new has been made that's good. And I did find some heaters, but hold on, it's by I gotta find the song because it's by Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, they got some heaters.
They do, yeah, they do.
Some of their songs I'm like, I can't fuck with them, but they got some heaters.
Yeah,
but what is that? This is how we roll.
Yeah, they have a lot of good songs. But that is the worst song I've ever heard. It's so bad. It is just like even songs that are less like well done, even from like people that I know that are like just like don't do a lot of music and it's like just their first thing, whatever, still sound better than that song. That song's horrible.
What's the motherfucker? Uncle Cracker. That motherfucker. Don't know how you met me, don't know why. That Follow Me. I fuck with that one and his rendition of that motherfucker. Give me the beat, boy, and free my soul. Oh yeah, that's my shit. I fucking love shit.
Pure heat.
So, got a lot more we could, but I think it's probably best to wrap it up here. But where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Joe Grandboy, which is JoeGrandboy. On Instagram with Joe Grandboy. You can find me on Twitter with _BBY Joe. The OG name. You can find me on Spotify because now I have access to my page. I'm the main person on there. Feel a little important. You can find me on Spotify. You just type in Desean. There's a picture of me there, probably smiling like a motherfucker in white tee. And everything like that. And if you can't find me as Desean, just type in any of the album names: Cognac Cowboy, Deuce's Uncle, and Joe's Grandboy.
Desean should pop up. I actually searched and was very excited to see that it popped up.
I was excited as fuck. When I finally got access to that bitch, I was like, yes, I can be an actual artist and motherfuckers can see me.
Mm-hmm.
It's tight. Alright. Well, thanks so much for coming on. This has been awesome.
Fun fucking episode.
Great episode. Housekeeping. Got jerseys.
Jerseys in. We're working on a merch site. Full on merch, so check that out. And yeah, go follow Joe and everything. Go listen to all of his musics. Go share with everyone you know. Go share this episode with everyone you know.
Make sure you actually watch the episode, share the episode, support the movement. You know what I'm saying? They got everything going up in here.
Let us know if y'all like the video format.
We're gonna continue it, so we don't
so
care
just
about
let
your
us know if you
opinion,
like it though.
But it's
you know?
but we appreciate your opinion. Anyway, we will see y'all next week.
Peace.